2024 at 6 p.m. Melissa, could you do a roll call, please?
Keller,
Here?
Tice,
Here.
Hedges,
Absent?
Klitzka,
Here.
Hallinan,
Here.
Brooks,
Here.
Duval.
Here.
Great, thank you, Melissa. Committee, you should have received a copy of the minutes from the December 19th, 2023 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Is there a motion to approve?
Motion
So
to approve.
moved by Sherry Tice, seconded by Tom Duval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Those minutes will stand approved. So we have just 2 or 3 issues on tonight's new business. First, as you know, we received notice from Jean Drosty, who had served on the Circleville-Pickway Lease Oversight Board for many years. She has decided not to continue her term on the board. And so we have an applicant that has applied, Mr. David Crawford. He's applied for that position.
Good.
And he is here tonight. And David has been very instrumental in Berger and their success, and he also helped with the new lease agreement. So David, thank you for coming up. Appreciate it. Anything you'd like to say to the committee?
No, I think there'll be a certain degree of work and time, but having helped with the transition of Berger Hospital and executing the lease, I represented city council at the time, and Barry was on that same committee. For the purpose of onboarding, I might be the best candidate. I won't need very much coaching. From all I understand, I did talk to Ms. Drosty. I saw the minutes from Ms. Drosty, and I talked to Gail Spangler, who used to be the secretary for the Lease Oversight Board. And it sounds like everything is going really well with them meeting the stipulations that the city and the county laid out. So I think this might be the least contentious committee I could serve on.
And
Don't
just,
count your eggs.
just for committee's information, at the next regular council meeting, Casey Liddy, the new president of Berger Ohio Health, will be here to give us an update, and we'll ask him how many more years are left in the oversight of the lease agreement, because it's only for a period of time, if I remember correctly.
I think the overall lease is 30 years, but they've met or exceeded several of the stipulations already. And I think the council received a copy of the minutes from Mrs. Drosty, and I certainly, if you approve, I'll continue that. But I think that's well in hand. So, yeah.
Anyone questions for David? Sharon?
Just as a comment for council members who might not have been here when that lease was put into effect, there were several promises that Ohio Health made when they came in. They were going to invest X number of dollars in the infrastructure there.
Correct.
And expand the emergency room and lots of different things.
Yes,
And so this lease oversight committee was formed to make sure that those things happened.
correct. And just as you stated, there was promises of expansion. They've done that. I think they got slowed down by the pandemic. They've also said they could recruit certain positions, and I believe they've done that. One of the more monetary requests we had was that they would continue paying the city no less than, I think it was $611,000 per year, which is what they were paying at the time in income tax. And I believe they've exceeded that. Mr. Bidwell would be the best person to let you know. So,
We underestimated that because they well have exceeded that guaranteed payment through income tax revenue from the city. Tom, Zach, Jeff, you got any questions for David while he's here?
I have done.
Sherry or Tom, you have any other questions?
No, sir.
David, we appreciate you being here. Is there
Okay.
a question?
Without further questions, it would be my honor to move Mr. Crawford to our next committee meeting.
Yeah,
for
to the
approval.
regular city council.
Yes.
Second that.
Second by Jeff Hallinan. Melissa, could you do a roll call on that?
Tice,
Yes.
Klitzka,
Yes.
Hallinan,
Yes.
Brooks,
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
thank you, Mr. Duval, Mr. Hallinan. Have a good night.
David, thank you.
Thank you.
You're always welcome.
Thanks
Come
for
back.
volunteering. We
Come
appreciate it.
back. Next, we have ARPA fund project updates. I received an email today from the auditor stating that he couldn't be here tonight and that we've had a lot of projects, as you know, the Belvedere that's wrapping up. Today, the scaffolding came down. It looks beautiful up there. We've done the North and South Court Street tree project, which was the repair of sidewalks, new trees, fixing some tripping hazards. We also have approved the renovation of the utility building, which is next door to City Hall. That work is ongoing as we speak. And finally, Jim is going to be here tonight to speak about doing the trees and sidewalks on East and West Main Street, which Jim, some city employees, Sherry and I did a walk down of those areas last year. We've identified how many trees there were, looked at all the different various conditions, some very bad, some not so bad. So Jim, if you got some numbers to share about that, that'd be great.
Yeah. First of all, it's more expensive than it was last year, so
No doubt.
concrete is the major portion of the cost. We're looking at 27 trees, including the couple here in front of the courthouse.
Yes.
So there's 27 total if all were replaced. And on the money estimate is about $198,000, $198,033.93. So, but as usual, that would probably require some contingency money as well. That's if we replace all trees in every spot.
And while Jim speaks to that, a couple things. I know there are some property owners that don't want a tree back. Okay. And we've allowed other property owners to not have a tree. So this will probably be a case by case situation. We want trees in our downtown. But again, we've allowed it on North and South Court Street. We'd have to work with each individual property owner for East and West Main Street. Also, Sherry helped us obtain a grant. What was the name of the grant, Sherry?
The Urban and Community Forestry Grant.
There you go, Urban and Community Forestry Grant. We're hoping that that grant can help pay for the new trees to help bring this number down some.
From what we understood, they would pay for the trees.
Yes, we had initially asked that it cover the entire project. However, they will not do that. The United States Forest Service representative said that they will not cover any sidewalk work, any brickwork, any removal of trees. They will only pay to put in the new trees. So that comes out at about $700 per tree. So it's about $20,000. It's a little bit of help, but not what we'd hoped for.
Well, we need that 20,000. I'll tell you why in a second.
Okay.
So again, from Mark Bidwell, he sent an email out to Jim and I today. And so, and Katie as the finance chair. So he says in his email, we have $381,000 remaining ARPA funds. 215 is pledged for the old P3 building. Okay. Some of that has contingency money in it.
215.
So if we didn't have to use all the contingency money, that gives us about $193,000 left. Okay. Towards a $198,000 project. So again, if we can get $20,000 off with the cost of the trees, that will help us. Yes.
Right, and the pure cost of just the trees is $8,000. The planting would be included in that $700 figure. And as long as we can break that out satisfactorily for the IRA grant, the Urban Forestry Grant, that shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to use that. So, and that does not include contingencies, but if we're not putting in every tree, that'll knock the price down some.
Sure.
Because we won't be replacing as many sidewalk panels, using as much brick, the pavers for the, to surround the trees. So, yeah, we can probably get that number down to where there's enough in the ARPA funds to go ahead and finish the project out.
Again, a lot of those will be case by case. Some property owners are very adamant. I don't want a tree back out front. Some people want that tree back. There's some spots where there should be a tree. It just never got put back in. Like for instance, at Court and Main Street beside the round bank.
And there's some that have said, I don't want a tree, and the tree committees put one back in anyway.
Yeah. I just want to
So-
say, it's got to be fluid.
Yeah.
I will need to note for the record. So we have the two trees, I think, here in front of the courthouse
Mhm.
that I've started conversations with their administrator and the person that oversees it to say, hey, we would do those as well. But also, there are two private property residents
Mhm.
across from the post office.
Right.
They are open to having their trees replaced as well. Because
Right.
they're doing the same thing to their sidewalks and overgrown.
I believe we included those two in that total number of 27 as well,
Right.
which those would not be as expensive as the other ones because there isn't any concrete work around those. There may be, we'll have to look at the panels just to make sure there's no panel replacement required, but they're not in a concrete area. They're in a strip that had bricks in it, so
Yes.
shouldn't be as expensive.
Questions for Jim? Jeff?
How far north do we go? That big monster tree that's in the way right now up there at North Court.
The,
Is that part of, I mean, I don't know how far.
We went to
go.
High Street.
That one, no, I'm talking about the one that's right by the cemetery almost.
oh, the one that we have the repair going on
Yeah,
right now?
yeah.
That is going to be removed because it's over top of a water line.
Yeah,
that needs
exactly.
Repaired. Yeah, so that's
So you
just,
probably will not replant.
unless the property owners want one, and that would be, they could come to the tree commission and get one. But I'm not real familiar with how wide that grass strip is, whether it meets the current regulations for planting a tree in. I'd have.
I mean,
to
that
look at
tree fills up the road to the grass.
It-
The property owner brought that up to me, so that's why I don't think you'll have any trouble about them wanting to plant a tree back in its
Okay,
place.
it is a pretty small grass strip there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, it's as wide as this desk, but the tree fills it up from sidewalk
Yeah.
to
Now
street
the-
curb.
the trees they are using now, could be fit, if it's 4 foot wide, I think that's the minimum width we have for planting a new tree. There is a tree species that will work in that, and then we also plant or put, root guard around them, so they forces the roots down rather than letting them come up under the sidewalk or up under the curb, so.
Yeah, that tree's got to be 100+ years old, and that's a big old monster.
Well, it's
tree.
older than the water, well, it's not as old as the water line, but those water lines, some of them are well over 100 years old.
Gotcha.
so.
Wow. Yeah. Thank
I
you.
think that tree is maybe a silver maple. It's a tree that never should have been planted in the tree lawn to
Right.
begin with, you know,
Yeah,
'cause it
I
just,
can believe
they
that.
get so big.
Yeah, because there's like there's 3 houses past whatever that last road is, and there's 2 or 3 big monster trees right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, thanks for calculating and getting all those quotes. I know it's a lot of different companies to do the various pieces of the quotes. Appreciate that. Committee, I'm looking for approval to move that project forward so Jim can start getting the contractors lined up. We're in the kind of the end of winter. He wants to get those trees out before they start leafing out and getting them ground out and getting some fill in until the concrete work can be done.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with that project.
Sherry Tice moves forward or makes a motion to move the tree replacement on East and West Main Street forward, seconded by Tom Klitzko. Could you do a roll call, please, Melissa?
Tice,
Yes.
Blitzka,
Yes.
Hallinan,
Yes.
Brooks.
Yes.
Duval.
Yes.
So, Jim, whenever you are needing money appropriated, please give the law director a heads up, an email or something, so he can get it to the finance committee to appropriate the funds.
Okay. All right. Very good. I'll do that. We're looking to start removal as soon as we can, so I'll contact Mark.
Yeah.
And get that going. I can give you a quick update on the building next door if you'd like.
Yes, please.
So far, completed to date is the HVAC work, duct cleaning. The new roof will be finished this week. So, and the windows and doors have been ordered. Interior framing and replacement of the entry concrete with the new step configuration will happen this week also, which he needs a letter from me. So I've got to send that to the building department. But so they are moving along, and that one is well in the time frame. It's supposed to be completed in mid-May. As long as those windows and doors come in, it shouldn't be a problem. We did find out that the vinyl flooring that whoever was renting that installed is not a commercial flooring. It's just a residential.
Mhm.
We're likely going to have to upgrade that. We're putting in some new flooring anyhow. We'll just put the same flooring in. That should probably be a few $1,000s there. But other than that, everything seems to be going well with that project. We've gotten the samples in for the exterior, which they're going to put a stone look that matches the sandstone that this building has for its foundation. And then we're going to have something that kind of complements the brick color. They had something they called brick color, but wasn't fond of that. So we're going to take that back to Historic Review Board once we get a color choice. I'm kind of letting John Anchor run with that since
Right.
my color's not that great. So I'm sure I would choose something that would not go well.
Yeah.
But that's all I have.
Good. And the Belvedere wrap up in a month?
Yeah, they should be, actually, they'll probably be totally pulling out of here within next week. They've got some repairs to the slate where they had to set the scaffolding, so they've got a few pieces of slate to repair. They'll be fixing any holes that they put in the brick to anchor the
Scaffolding?
scaffolding that was up there. And yeah, they should be out of here next week, totally out.
It looks
So
great. It looks great.
It does. You really, really can see that from distance now.
At some time this year, not right now, we will try to determine some appropriate times to ring the bell. We don't want to compete with courthouse bells. We want to
Right.
have our own different ring. So I may first request a ring bell, chime schedule from the courthouse when it rings, and then we'll look at how we can incorporate our bell so the community can enjoy the bell.
Sounds good.
Just for the record, so right now it goes off every Tuesday night at 6:59 PM for 1 minute,
Just for us.
just for,
Well, 2 times a month
Yeah.
for us.
Jim, thanks a lot for your information. Committee, one last thing under new business. I have contacted all of you individually, as well as the law director, to hold a meeting for the purpose of appointing the second ward council person. The Republican Central Committee did not come to a majority decision. It now moves to city council to make that appointment. There are 3 applicants, and I had put in the target date of February the 27th, 2024 at 6 PM. According to our rules of council, a special meeting has to be called by the mayor or any 3 members of council may call for a special meeting. So I would like to know if 3 of you would be willing to call for that special meeting on February the 27th. That's a Tuesday at 6 PM. Jeff, you're willing to call for a special meeting? Anyone else? Zach? Tom?
I will.
Okay. So Melissa, please note that Jeff Halloman, Zach Brooks, and Tom Klitzka have called for a special council meeting on Tuesday, February 27th, 2024 at 6 PM for the sole purpose of appointing a person for the Ward 2 council seat. Committee, I will have the clerk notify those applicants in writing. And then I'll set up the process for when they're here that evening for them to be able to introduce yourselves and go through that process. Okay? Great, thank you very much. Is there any other new business before the committee? Motion to-
And it's a separate meeting, so we don't need to excuse council person, only when they're regular scheduled
Only
meetings.
regular
Is that
council.
true? That's what I thought.
Only
Just
regular-
making sure.
Yep,
All
good
right.
point.
Thank you. Adjournment, I'll move for it.
Motion to adjourn by Jeff Halloran, second by Zach Brooks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The meeting is adjourned. I believe the service committee is going to start in about 1 minute.
So you hear the thunk.
Yeah, we'll let Melissa stop the recording, and then she'll get ready and do the service. You can leave it
Got a big agenda here.
The
Tommy. I'm
meeting
gonna have
over here.
All right.
to watch on you.
Thank you, Sherry, for being here.
He said
Aye.
7.